Welcome, everybody. This is another episode of Ask the DTG Expert, and I am excited to have my friend and my coworker, Terry Combs. Terry, you are in the hot seat. You are indeed the expert, and this series has been fun. I'm glad we're doing these.
Me too. I don't know if you noticed, I've been adding to the list of questions to discuss. So I think
I
we'll
have
be
noticed.
going for a while.
I think we will, and I think we should, because this is really the genesis of this became, well, as we've said already previously, so often we're asked these questions, whether in a trade show environment or whether online in our networking groups. These common questions come up again and again, and I think people, they're kind of afraid to ask them at first. Correct me if I'm wrong, because
Sure.
they're afraid that the salesman is going to show up, right?
Exactly. And sometimes they do.
Well, that's true. And of course, we are in business, and Equipment Zone is in business to sell you amazing equipment. However, we recognize that it's important that it's a fit, that it's a good match, and that we can answer all of your questions and not just the easy questions, if that makes sense.
Right.
Well, let's jump into it, Terry. We've got the lineup here is set for us, and the first question that really our topic today is this. Is training included? Because eventually people want to know a lot about how am I going to learn how to do this, whether they've got experience in other apparel decoration or if they're a complete startup. The key is this is an important question, but as you and I both know, there's more to it than just is training included. So what do you think about this as a topic?
You're exactly correct, Jay. And this question eventually does happen well after what's the price and is the training included? And a lot of times the answer will be just yes. And then how are you planning to pay for this?
Yeah, they kind of quickly move away. They don't really go
Right.
too deep into it. Why do you think that is, Mr. Combs?
Well, I think that there are folks who don't necessarily give you any training at all. And worst case scenario is I heard once somebody told me that another company, XYZ company, I talk about those folks a lot, XYZ.
XYZ, they're famous.
They are famous, but it said, well, it's like a desktop printer. You just plug it in. There's some YouTube videos you can watch too. Now, if someone says about a DTG printer, all you have to do is plug it in, then just back away. Don't show fear. Back away, because entirely incorrect. There aren't a lot of people, Jay, that have experience in DTG. It's only been around for about 17 years. So there's not the old pro that you're going to hire to bring in and run your equipment for you. Those folks just don't really exist out there. So there is training necessary. And so, the real discussion is this. Tell me about the training I'm going to receive. How long will it be? When's it going to take place? Are you going to train me for an hour? Are you going to train me for a day? And how long after I get my equipment is this going to happen? So I think those are some of the keys.
Real discussion. I love how you framed that. The real discussion should be more than, you're not looking for yes or no answers. You're about to make a major investment, and you want to make sure that you see a healthy return on that investment. And you and I have both been in that position. So that's why I think maybe we're a little bit more empathetic than some. Other salespeople are just, they're all about the bottom line. Get the, MasterCard, Visa, or American Express, Terry.
Exactly right.
We're going to try to position ourselves at Equipment Zone with a little bit more empathy, because we want to see a long-term success. We want to see your business grow, so that, hey, let's disclose our ulterior motive. We already have done this before. We hope that you need other equipment, other printers, other supplies, and then we want to build this relationship for the long haul. So I love how you framed that. The real discussion and the real question should be about, how long, when will it happen? How many people? Does that ever come up? Like, do people think how many people can be trained at my shop?
Oh, sure, absolutely. We've had plenty of people saying, "Hey, can I have 5 people attend?" It gets a little unwieldy sometimes with a larger group like that, but we've certainly done it. Very common to have 2 or 3 people though going through a training, and it's always good. If it's only the one person that can be there, sometimes things get lost a little in translation when they go back to their business and try to
Mhm.
explain what they've learned. So, you know, but 2 or 3 people is really a good size.
I think that makes sense because it's important that you might have a production manager or a business owner, and then you might have a person that's actually going to be dedicated to running this machine. And so
Exactly.
it would make a lot of sense to me that you would have more than one set of eyes and ears for this type of training. Another question I just thought of, I don't know if this is in our notes or not, but is there a distinction in your mind between the setup, the installation, and training? Because I wonder if that maybe is part of the blur or part of the
I
challenge of
I
this.
think so too. You know, because for some people, um, you know, we get that question asked a lot. Are you going to come and set it up for me? You know, with the Epson printer and with the speed treater, with the heat press, there's not a lot of setup involved, and you certainly don't want to tie up the time of a trainer loading ink cartridges. The printer literally will tell you what to do. Load the white ink cartridges, and you know,
Yeah.
that sort of thing. We have videos that take you through that part, but I think you're correct. I think there's some confusion on setup and training. They're really two separate things. When we train, we want you to have your machine up, running, inked up, ready to go. I remember one of our techs saying to me one time, he goes, Terry, by the time I walked in the door, they'd already printed 700 shirts. And I said, I don't even think I need to be here.
That's awesome.
But
We
yeah, I think people jump in, try it. You know, we've all got rag shirts or whatever that we can print
right,
on to do some testing and see how it works. I'm that way. I can't wait when I get a new piece of equipment to fire it up.
right.
And so, you know, and you don't have to wait for your training to get started.
Well, and I think it's important that we make the distinction here, Terry, between the pre-treatment machine as well as the heat press, as well as the different classifications of the printer. So it would be different for the F2100 compared to the F3070. I think there you might need a little bit more TLC and there's a little bit more involved, but you're specifically speaking to the F2100, correct?
Correct, correct. And you are absolutely correct. The F3070, it is actually installed in your location by Epson. They come, they uncrate it, they bring it in, they set it up, they train you, but that training is going to be more about this button does this line on the menu means that.
Mhm.
That's why we follow up with a separate training over Zoom showing you how to get a really great print. Yes, they showed you which buttons to push. Now let's get a great finished product for you.
So we've kind of covered, tell me about the training I'll receive, but maybe we could dig a little deeper into the how. How does this actually happen? Now, what we do at Equipment Zone is probably different from other dealers. And then what the Epson family does is probably different from other brands. And I'm not an expert on those other brands, but it sure seems from the feedback we get that we're doing some right things, that we're taking the high road at Equipment Zone. I don't want to dislocate my shoulder while I'm patting myself on the back here, but maybe we could talk about that, or you could answer some of the how, like how does this work?
Well, okay. For instance, how am I going to be trained? That's a question you ask when you're shopping for a machine. Is it in person? That's very rare today. I'll tell you that. Ever since COVID, our technicians came off the road um, and did training over Zoom. Now, did we just set up a camera on a laptop and try to train you that way? No, our New Jersey office, our Phoenix office are set up with multiple cameras. We have cameras over top the equipment. We go back and forth with the software up on the screen for you. It's all one-on-one training, and our tech will spend a day with you, and until you're both satisfied that you understand how to
Right.
operate the machine. And of course, you know, we have support after that. But how am I going to be trained in person? Do I have to come to you? There are companies that do the training only in their facility. Is it just over the phone? There again,
Right.
folks who just talk to you over the phone, talk you through it, which I think is a difficult thing. or here are the 12 videos to teach you how to use this machine. So
Right.
I think that the uniqueness for Equipment Zone is we are so DTG specific that therefore our technicians are all DTG experts. And so we go, I think, a little deeper in training. Yes, we're going to talk about push this button. Here's how you set up the pre-treat machine. Here's how you set the pressure for your heat press. But we're going to also talk to you about what happens when you use too little or too much pre-treat. What happens if you use too much pressure? Let's print some shirts. And you know, Jay, we send pre-treated shirts and we send unpre-treated shirts. And unpre-treated shirts, that was Roy's idea, our technician here in New Jersey, or I'm sorry, here in Arizona, because he said, I want to be able to demonstrate for the customer when they pre-treat the shirt themselves how to do it properly. And yeah, you can pre-treat, you can work on our pre-treated shirt. Roy said, I want to see you pre-treat a shirt on your end and then get a great print with it. So I thought that was a great idea. And but we're always learning, we're always improving on what we do. So
Yeah.
bottom line is, ask, how is this training going to happen from whoever you buy the machine from?
Yeah, that's critical.
You know, Jay, you're well aware of this because you spend a lot of time down in the Tempe office, but Roy does a lot of paid training. We have people come to us who actually pay us to train them on the F2100, because when they bought their machine, they thought the training was going to be different. And I'm not saying they
Right.
bought it from us, bought it from another company, and then came to us and said, I don't know how to use this machine,
Right.
and can you train me? So we do that for people.
Yeah, it is a little, you know, I gotta say, I love the brand so much. It's almost a disservice to the greater Epson family when there are some that, for whatever reason, and I don't want to pitch anyone under the bus. That's not what we're trying to do here. We're just trying to say the other reason that we offer that, Terry, is a lot of times, you know, the owner of the company had, you know, Bob, and Bob decided to go do something else, and now he's got Mary, and Mary was never trained.
Sure.
So
Absolutely.
there's another reason that we do offer that. But it's true that we've had a lot of folks who purchase their machines from other dealers that find us, and they want that higher level of touch and deeper understanding. And so it's interesting that you mentioned Zoom, you know, over videos, like actually recorded, pre-recorded videos over the phone, and in person. And you know what? We do it all. I mean, yes, we're doing in person a lot less, but as things start to open up and when it's appropriate, and if it made sense, you know, that is still something that we would do at Equipment Zone.
Yeah. Let's see.
Oh, do we get a little comment? I can see you checking out something.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It says on the pre-treat machine, there is a rule book on how to change between t-shirt and hoodie. That's actually something that's going to come in training. The technician will go over pre-treating different types of products. There's not really a guidebook per se.
But there are some videos that we have done specifically on that topic, both for thicker garments like hoodies as well as thinner garments like a t-shirt. So that's a great point, is that we've had those types of questions come up. So either you or Roy or others we've gotten together and captured that training, created a webinar, recorded the webinar. They can go to our YouTube page and watch that. So
what's like we tell customers, when you see a great something really cool happening, make a shirt. Well, at Equipment Zone, when we get a great question, we make a video.
Yeah, it's true. And I've got a list of them. I still need to get on it. So, you know, one of the things that you talked about earlier was these expectations. Like if, you know, making sure they're aligned, like what should I expect? I think you even framed it that way. But in fairness to both parties, that's an important concept, you know?
Right, exactly right. And we have a checklist that we go through, and this is the training is certainly the same for everyone, but if you're brand new to this, you have no idea, we might dig a little deeper into getting started. Maybe you're a screen printer, maybe you're an embroiderer, you have a little better understanding of the substrates, those sorts of things. Well, maybe we compress that a little bit, but it's all one-on-one. It's all geared to you, and the technicians will kind of gauge your understanding and set the pace accordingly when we're going through this. But and you know, we're gonna talk to you about all the different steps in the process, that sort of thing. But make sure that you also have realistic expectations. I was reading on a forum a while back where someone was complaining about when they got trained on a machine that the person didn't teach them Photoshop. And I didn't have to comment back, and because all the other people reading the forum said that's not training on how to use a machine. That's
Yeah,
that's a whole new process.
different topic for a different trainer, if that's what you
Exactly
need.
right.
Now, of course, we are going to cover some of the basics.
Oh, sure.
But we're not going to dive deep. It's not our position to teach you Photoshop. That's not part of it.
We're going to talk about what kind of file to save. We're going to talk about 300 DPI. We're going to talk about things like that. But now that could take a week. That could take a month
to master Photoshop. That would take me.
Yeah.
But let's not get into that. I was thinking
that's why we have Dane Clement as our friend.
I was just going to say that's what I was thinking about our friend Dane, and why we had a Photoshop training guide created by Dane, highly recommended, by the way, and available on our website. Sorry for the plug. The other thing that came to mind was I remember listening to Matthew Rome, our dear friend Matt Rome, and the OG of DTG, as we like to call him, with the total respect, by the way, because he literally did figure out how to get inkjet technology onto a t-shirt. So
he held the patent.
So. Yeah. So it's a big deal. But I remember listening to Matt, and he was in another webinar that I was tuned in on, and he talked about it's important for you to know who's going to actually do the training. Like do they have the experience to be a trainer? And I thought, I've never thought of that. I don't know if I would ever ask that question. I would just be so excited to be getting trained,
right,
that I don't know that I would think to say, well, how experienced are they?
And I think there's that assumption exists, Jay, that well, of course, the trainer is going to be fully trained themselves, but you need to find out, how much experience does this trainer have with DTG, and follow-up question, what other types of training does this trainer do? In other words, does he spend 90% of his time training on embroidery machines? Because if that's the case, probably not as expert on DTG. I mean, it could be, but probably not. And that's unfortunate. But those are the folks that that we have calling us up saying, hey, can you do some training for us?
Yeah, oftentimes we do pick up those pieces. It's true. And we hear their war stories, and it's sad because they'll tell us that somebody that was, brand new, and this was their first training, and they couldn't even figure out how to print the shirt. Like they couldn't figure out how to get things aligned, or they didn't understand the head height, or they didn't know what, so it's important to ask that question. And of course, we're highlighting Equipment Zone's experience when we say this, that's never going to happen with us. But it brings me to really the next one, which is what happens after the sale. So I like to frame it this way, and you've already touched on this. So, we should be putting training in the context of before, during, and after. Like, how much can Terry Combs, a senior sales rep, teach me and train me about the concept? How much will I get during that actual installation and quote training? And then afterwards, that's just paramount to me, the service and the training after the fact.
Well, Jay, this type of technology, you will need to call and ask questions. There are very few of our customers that don't at some point in time call up and say, hey, I forgot what you told me about printing on a hoodie. How do I do this? How do I pre-treat it? And you need to ask those questions and ask, what support do you offer afterwards? There are companies that after a year, they start charging you for support. There are companies that refer you to Epson support when you have a question. And hey, Epson support does a great job, but they are not necessarily decorators who can tell you, hey, my white is not bright on this particular image. They're not going to say to you, send me that file and let me take a look at it, like we're going to do. So you want to buy from a company that they do have a support department, somebody you can call and ask questions, and hopefully you can call and ask questions for as long as you own the equipment.
Yeah, that's so cool. It's one of the reasons that I enjoy working with Equipment Zone so much is how far we will go to ensure success. And you know, we'll save the warranty questions for another Ask the DTG Expert,
Yeah.
because that will naturally lead into that. But I think just the fact that people can call us up, they can go to our website, fill out a support ticket, you know, go to equipmentzone.com, and then you can see support, one of the tabs, and you can also see a lot of helpful videos on that page right there. We just thought, let's drop in some links here as well. So whether it's
Right.
pre-treating, whether it's heat pressing, whether it's printing, all three, and lots of others that you'll see on that support page. But maybe we can turn the corner around third and go for home and ask you one more question about,
Okay.
you know, thinking through the experience of how do people, you know, get over the fear of, I don't know everything. Like, have you met those customers, Terry, that are like, you know, they're kind of frozen and they feel like if they don't get all of the facts that they can't proceed, they can't move forward, and they kind of get hung up on this training because they're afraid to make a mistake. I don't know if that's how we should wrap this up, but that's what was on my mind today is how does our training help that person?
Well, I think a big part of it, Jay, is the fact that once you get down to the end, you're printing shirts. You're actually physically printing shirts on your end with our tech watching you with on webcam, and you know, talking to you as if they were right there in the room with you about, okay, now when you loaded that shirt, you should have done it a little more like this, or this is
Mhm.
going to be faster, or this is going to be a better way for you to make sure that image is square. And I think that's a visual thing that you have to have. And you know, Jay, we've found that our customers have the same success getting the training via Zoom as they do with the tech walking in the
In
door. And
person. Yeah.
exactly right, because and also, you know, sometimes things go awry and your trainer gets there and find out that, oh my gosh, my you know, kid broke his arm and I gotta
Right.
run to
Right.
the hospital.
Yeah.
But over Zoom it's a little bit easier to kind of maneuver your time and things like that as
Reschedule.
well.
Yeah, that's true. That is an advantage to keeping it on a digital platform. Well, let me throw it back to you. Is there any last question that you think you should or we should counsel to those that want to ask that final question? Well, Terry, tell me about the training. Will I get training? I mean, what else? And maybe I forgot to ask you.
I would say that can you give me the names, the contact information for a couple of your customers so that I can ask
Mm,
them about their purchase experience, about the training, about the support? Who could I call? Most people will do that. They will give you that information. Chances are pretty good they're going to give you one of their awesome customers. Um,
yes, of
don't
course.
expect somebody to go, oh no, don't buy that machine. But I think it's great to be able to talk to somebody that has lived this experience and share. And who knows, you might gain an industry friend that you can kind of go back and forth with on things. We have lots of customers that chit chat back and forth with each other, and if someone says no, I can't give out any customer information, there's probably a reason that it's not to protect that customer. It's because they don't necessarily have anybody that they feel comfortable
Mm.
having this conversation with.
Well, that's an excellent point. It really brings us to the close of our session today, thinking about you as the expert. Thank you again for your time and sharing that, the broader context of, if I ask, is training included? What else should I ask? What else should I know? But I'd like to also say that builds on what you just said is people could visit we dedicated a Facebook page, a group, to just F2100 owners. They are not all our customers. I mean, I would
Right.
say 50 or 60% of them probably are. But we're not doing it exclusively for our customers, because we wanted to have another training platform where people could kind of get that help, where they could ask each other, like, well, did you see this? Are you experiencing this? And it's really, really been helpful for a lot of our customers. And now new friends that weren't our customers,
Right.
who, start to realize that, how many times have we heard this? Oh, I wish I would have found you guys before I bought this
Right.
machine. But that's me bragging, and I probably shouldn't. But that Facebook webpage and group can be a great resource for that.
Well, and Jay, I know you and Roy keep it positive and upbeat all the time, and I love when people post pictures of some of the work they've done. Sometimes it's, hey, can you help me? Why is it doing this? But more often, it's hey, I get this new order. Check out this print. And I don't know about you, Jay, but I love to see the work that people are doing, and kind of get inspired
Definitely.
by their work. So it's definitely
Definitely.
a great place to go.
It is. It's a little support group. People, we do try to keep it positive, by the way. It's not a place to complain or bitch and moan. It's a place to support each other, to learn, to compare notes in a non-threatening way. And so that helps really when we think about that. That's a component of the training, is you're getting support. And that's included. We built that, so it's really an asset to Equipment Zone. Well, I would like to remind everyone who's viewed this that, again, all of our training videos, in addition to this Ask the DTG Expert, will be and are soon to be on our YouTube channel. So please go visit our YouTube channel, Equipment Zone, as you can see right there, and subscribe. And also, key contact information if you need to reach out to us. Visit our website. That's also a place where you can get support. You can start a tech ticket there, or contact your sales rep first. It's okay to reach out to Terry or Jeff or Amy or anyone at Equipment Zone and say, I'm stuck, I need help, and they'll route you in the right place.
Right.
Well, that's it, my friend. I want to thank you again for joining me on this great series. I can't wait to continue to do more of these with you. Thanks for being the
Absolutely.
expert.
I'm looking forward to it, Jay. Goodbye, everybody.
All right, bye-bye.